patient, Dojo.
Commentary, son.
Holy shit! I hear myself thinking. One little action can really make a whole huge deal in the entire set.
DDD dittos are fucking stupid.
Happy feet, combo combo. That ain't
PC survives that attack. Both players are on their feet again, they hit each other. Oh my god.
This is Punishment Divine, welcoming you to the 9th episode of Directional Influence. I know you guys missed me. I've been gone for a little bit, but I'm over my illness, and I'm at home this week, so I was able to make it. With me today is, of course, Dakota. How are you doing, Dakota?
Doing pretty well,
right.
And stuff.
And we also have Will, so the whole cast is here.
Whole cast is here. We don't care how Will's doing. However, we have some...
Hi, guys.
We also have with us a very special guest, just back from, winning Dallas and shit, because that's how he gets it in. Gnes. Gnes, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Awesome. So we have Gnes here today because we're talking about Dallas, which happened this past weekend. And that is because it may be the last MLG event ever, which makes me sad. But anyway, so Gnes walked away with $12,500? That's a lot of money. I didn't know that. Anyway, we're going to talk about Dallas, and then we'll smash Beyond the Circuit next season. We'll find out, or we'll discuss it really. So stay tuned. The rest of episode 9 of Directional Influence coming at you.
Alright guys, let's start talking about MLG Dallas. I don't know if you guys knew or not, or if you were hiding under a rock or whatever, but, MLG Dallas was the finals of the entire season, the most hype event of the entire year for MLG, and, of course, I didn't get to go, sad face. But, hopefully there's always next year. I don't know, we'll find out about that later. But anyway, let's start with Gnes. I mean, how was your trip to MLG? How did it? I know you're already from Texas, so how actually far is Dallas from you?
Well, actually, I live in Houston, so Dallas is actually 4 hours away from us.
Oh wow!
And it's actually a pretty far drive, just because Houston's actually one of the worst traffic cities in pretty much the U.S. So getting out of it's quite a pain.
Normally, you probably have to fly to everything that you go to, but I've seen you around a bunch, so I mean. Mad respect for you coming out to I've seen you at Apex, I've seen you at a bunch of things,
So you got there, I'm assuming Thursday or Friday, maybe even Wednesday, whatever, and what is the first thing you do knowing you're at the last MLG event of the season?
Well, actually, we got there, because most people got there on Thursday, but we had to actually wait for Ultimate Razor to get out of school because his mom wouldn't let him skip. So we pretty much got to Dallas and got into the MLG venue at exactly 5 o'clock. So pretty much when I got in, I was worried about being late and being disqualified.
Damn, that's cutting it close right there. And we all know from last episodes, people not showing up on time. Looking at you, Ally.
I know there was a lot of hype at home, Gnes, and we were looking at the bracket and we went, and everybody home here said, wow, Gnes has a really difficult bracket. How did you feel looking at your bracket?
I honestly felt that I was pretty screwed. Razor's been beating me, pretty much lately, and I sort of got in, a snake mental block, just because he knows me so well, and the matchup isn't in my favor. So when I saw that I had to fight Fatal, and if I beat him, I had to fight Allie, it was pretty much, I honestly didn't think I'd even get, past them two.
Pretty much rate breaker right there, but you ended up obviously getting through it. Do you think there was a match that sort of gave you that was a pivotal turning point for you that gave you that momentum to push you through the rest of the bracket?
Actually, yeah, it had to be game 2 against Allie. I sort of played a lot differently than I usually do against him, and it caught him off guard game 1. So he immediately goes back to Smashville game 2, which was where game 1 was. And I think I JV2 stock him, which was even worse than the first match was. And so pretty much then I was like, if I can do that to him and all the experience he has against Diddy, I can most likely win.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys heard, but Gnes just said game 2 against Ally, meaning that he 2-0'd him. And almost every single round, from what I heard, and I only heard a few updates on Smashboards looking at the MLG blog, but I heard that you only dropped one round your entire run through the whole tournament.
Actually, I only dropped that round to Esam, who was by far the hardest person I fought that tournament.
And you had to run through the actual bracket before the pro bracket even too, right?
Yeah, I had to go through the complete amateur bracket, and I think I only got one bye, which was the first round.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, at Dallas they ran a pro or championship bracket as well as the open bracket, which is a system they implemented in other games as well, which pretty much, top players get their own little bracket, and then people who advance to the open bracket move in depending on how they did in the open bracket, and Gnes was one of them. Speaking of which, did you feel like having the open bracket made the tournament feel like different, or not really?
Well, sort of, because it's like people like Esam will be there and they'll be like, yeah, I only got to win one match and I'm guaranteed $1,000. Where people like me and Dojo, we're like, we've got to go through like 7 or 8 rounds of amateur bracket and then go to pro bracket and win like 2 or 3 matches before we get the same.
So let's backtrack here to Friday night. Anything interesting happened then?
Pretty much, we get our little hotel room together, which with a few notable names like Ultimate Razor, Lane, CO18, Fogo. So we all get together and we're staying at this 4-star hotel. And this guy comes in, and because we're trying to get the Wii's to work on these like HD TVs. And so the guy comes in and he keeps like calling our Wii and Xbox for some unknown reason. And it's like, he had to be illegal. Like, he couldn't have been there legally. It was retarded. But that was, the only interesting thing that happened, at least Friday night.
I know there was a crew battle that went down at one point. Did you
Crew?
Friday?
Yeah, I'm really not sure. They really didn't keep updates on that. So, Gnes, do you know anything about that?
Actually, yeah. It was called, like, the All-Star Crew Battle, and it happened on Friday. I'm pretty sure the West won, because Lee was on the West's team, and literally he was like raping everyone. It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, they actually had an article about it on MLGpro.com, because what they did was they had like an East versus West like overall winner, because they did this in every event, Tekken, Smash, and Halo. So West overall, I think actually East ended up winning the whole thing because Tekken and Halo won on the East Coast, but Smash obviously didn't. So I think that's what he's referring to.
I also remember Ally being on the West Coast, which I think
isn't he from like the Eastern Canada though?
He is from Canada, and like he pretty much
he lives here
in Atlantic North.
Yeah.
Okay,
maybe they thought they should do that to even stuff out, but no, that was like overkill.
I don't see how that even things out at all. That's just kind of broken to have like all those names on West Coast, and then even Lee is more East than West. I don't understand.
That's true.
And I think the East Coast team was like what? It was like Adamus, Fatal, and then there was 2 other people. I don't actually recall.
Nick Riddle and Sam, I think.
Yeah, it's not like either team wasn't like stacked, but I heard Lee was pretty much raping everybody. At least they had some sort of crew thing, which is pretty interesting, because I know they do that at every finals so far.
So that was Friday.
Yeah, so that was Friday. Friday it happened.
Since the schedule was changed around, that doubles occurred on Saturday. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, how did doubles go down? Who'd you end up teaming with, and how did you guys end up doing in doubles?
Actually, I teamed with DHF, also known as Larry, and we actually did pretty good. We started off a little rocky. We played Zayton and Clell first round, and it actually ended up with me 2v1ing them, both of them, in both of the games that we won. And it was pretty much just because that we had never played before and we hadn't warmed up either. But after warming up, we started doing pretty well, and we ended up getting third, losing to Nick Riddle and Shaky and losing to Allie and Lee in winners finals.
Yeah, amazing performance from a team of two characters that were once thought unviable in doubles. So Saturday, some singles matches also happened too, right?
Yeah, it was actually some pretty interesting ones because I think Saturday might have been the day where Domo took out Havoc, and in one of the matches, he actually reversed three-stocked him, which was pretty amazing.
And that was, that's right, because the day before, I guess, probably in winners round 3, I guess Havoc had been, actually, we heard that he lost, it was the MJG, right? The Toon Link?
Yeah, I think MJG actually might have two-stocked him one of those matches.
I heard, because I know that Havoc said he had the opportunity to time him out, but I guess he didn't really go for it. But at sometimes I know that, Toon Link racks up that damage so fast that once you get the stock, sometimes that's the best way to do it. Like I even saw a match of the Anti versus one was Anti versus King Toon, another was Anti versus Jash. And there's actually a point where Meta Knight has to really not approach and just avoid everything. That's the only way he can play safely. So Havoc probably just didn't play as campy as he probably could have and tried to fight him a little bit. And when you do that against Toon Link, sometimes his projectiles just set you up and you die and you can't really do anything about it. Let's talk about Sonics as upsets.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, shout out to SB and X for doing very legit as the Blue Hedgehog and then having Dittos at the same time, and that was probably pretty epic. I don't know. I never ever thought I would ever see a Sonic Ditto at MLG. Like, it's absolutely, shout out to them. And they played really well too. It's not like it was a fluke. They played really great. Who got the freaking up B jab block thing?
That was SB. I believe it 3 on SB.
Whoever, look that shit up on YouTube.
They're running around, they get really close combat, and they start, getting into melee range, and SB ends up footstooling X out of the air, and immediately after, he does an up B, and the up B hits him as X landed on the ground from the footstool, and then SB quickly down airs to get back down to the ground because he was in the jab block animation, and he proceeds to jab block him across the stage after that. It was really crazy. So, I definitely never seen that before. Props to those guys. They definitely know what they're doing with Sonic. They come 5th and 6th place, winning thousands of dollars with Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it's so ridiculous to say that.
And at the same time, there's actually some good Sonic games coming out.
Coincidence?
Coincidence?
I think not.
They all got really hyped over Sonic the Hedgehog 4.
So, Gnes, you eventually made it into the championship bracket. It's Sunday now. Tell us all about Sunday at MLG.
I woke up, I actually took a shower because everyone in my hotel room didn't make it to this championship bracket. So it was pretty much like just me, just by myself for no reason. So I go walk around the hotel listening to music and pretty much just get ready. And I get a call at 9:50 while everyone's slowly waking up, and they're like, "Hey, Gnes, are you here in the venue? Your match is getting called," which was funny because the matches were supposed to start at 10 o'clock, and our hotel is like 5 minutes away from the venue. So I quickly wake P4, which was one of our roomies there, and we run out the hotel, he speeds through traffic, gets all the way to the hotel, and I just run through the venue, and I finally get there, I think 2 minutes before I was disqualified, my first round against Fatal. The beginning was pretty crazy, and after that, the first match, it goes pretty rocky for me, because I'm out of breath, I desperately need water after running for 5 minutes straight, and it ends with Fatal up tilting me, and at the same time me fairing him, and I'm dying from the top, but he dies from the side blast zone first. And so pretty much the crowd is screaming because it was pretty crazy.
That's ridiculous. And it's funny because things like that just seem to happen at MLG. All the times I've been there, I've been to almost every event, things like that just tend to happen. Both people die at the same time. One people dies off Like they both die off the top. One person gets Comet KO'd. One person dies off the front, and like it's the split second that determines the match. It's ridiculous.
So the entire day of Sunday, Gnes, you're basically saying you just cut everything close. You cut making it to the venue close. You cut beating Fatal close.
It was a crazy time because, like, after I beat Fatal, because I pretty much warmed up that game also, and so after the second game, it was one stop mid-percent, and the third game was one stop mid-percent. I went on to Alley, and I beat him pretty solidly. But one weird thing that happened is after game 2, I'm sort of like sitting there just like with my head down, and a random lady comes up and she's like, "Just calm down, take a breath. I know you got this. I'm rooting for you to win this whole thing." And it was pretty much, now that I think about it, and I won it, it was probably the creepiest thing I've ever like been through. It was crazy. Now that I think about it.
Shout out to that lady for letting Gnes win the tournament. She definitely was like pulling strings and shit. Getting that out there. So you end up beating Ally, and obviously not many more matches after that. You're fighting Tyrant. Anything else interesting happened between those matches and playing Tyrant?
In my set against ESAM, I think game 3 on Smashville, he actually has the lead, and I think I'm at 2 stocks, like 120%, and he goes down trying to give me, and he messes up like a quick attack. So I think I edge hog him, and so he comes down with a fresh stock, and somehow he ends up below the ledge again, and as he's up being, I spike him. And for like some reason, like going from a game where he shouldn't have won, he gets 2 stocks.
And then finally after that, you're playing Tyrant. And we've seen the videos. Tell us about that match against Tyrant.
Of course, like at the start, it's pretty much, even like some of the Tekken players are coming over, a few random people, so the crowd is pretty humongous. And the match starts, and it's just the typical stuff, Diddy versus Meta Knight. And since I'm so used to like playing Dojo and Anti, I'm thinking he's like actually gonna fight me or something. So I do like regular Diddy stuff, and I approach him, and he just goes straight to the ledge. And at this point, I realize this is probably gonna be a really long set.
Yeah, I was watching right in the beginning of that set. I just actually watched it on YouTube because I was getting hyped for this whole interview, and I was watching you on Battlefield versus Tyrant, and right at the beginning of the match, you guys are just like staring each other down for like a good 20 to 30 seconds. You have like a banana in your hand, you're just kind of chilling, he's chilling near the edge, and like you're just trying to wait and see who makes the first move. But yeah, it definitely looked like Tyrant, he was going for either playing super campy, or gonna try to time you out. But as we've seen, it looks like the best way to fight Diddy is like you said, the way Anti and I'm sure Dojo do it is that they fight back, they use the bananas, and it's pretty much like full-on aggression versus Diddy, but I guess Tyrant tried his own methods against that. I don't know who he plays, that plays Diddy.
Yeah, West Coast is definitely lacking Diddy Kong, so I think the first thing a Meta Knight main has going through his head when he doesn't know a matchup is play defensive as possible and try and, I guess, time you out.
Yeah, actually he played Felix at the last MLG and lost, and Felix was telling me that the reason like Tyrant even does good against ADHD is literally just because he's a smart player. It's like he doesn't really know the matchup, and he's only getting by just from knowing a few little things about it. So, I mean, I think I could have beat him like a lot more solidly if I had taken advantage of him not knowing all those things, but I guess I was probably like a little nervous, as was he.
No, both of you guys are playing really safe. Like, there's no reason that you could have been so confident in, like, okay, he definitely doesn't know this matchup, I'm just gonna style on him. No, it was grand final, so obviously, yeah, you're gonna be nervous, and you're both gonna be trying to play as safe as.
And that third game, he took you to Norfair. What was going through your head? Because we all know that Norfair is supposedly an Meta Knight auto win stage, but you actually beat Tyrant pretty handily there. But what was going through your head beforehand?
I actually, in all honesty, right then I believed that the tournament was mine, because in the sets that I beat Dojo, I mean the last 2 sets, in the first set, he counterpicked me Norfair to game 3, and I almost JV2 stocked him. And I sort of like came to a realization that with the ledge grab limit, Meta Knight isn't that great on Norfair. And it's like if Diddy gets the lead, he can just camp the middle, and Meta Knight has very limited options.
Yeah, toward the end of that match, I was watching. You were pretty much, walling him with the bananas, throwing them up, waiting for one to hit him, then hitting him with the aerials. And toward the end, you could tell he was panicking because even like simple things, when your nerves are that high, you were fighting him, you were jumping up, throwing bananas when the tidal wave of the lava was coming in the back. I saw you were shooting peanuts, he threw a banana, and I guess he got distracted. He was gliding and he got hit by it. At that point, I was like, all right, Gnes has got this.
A funny part about that is mid-match when that happens, he just turns around, he doesn't turn around well, he just looks at me and he's like, I swear I didn't see that. And it's like, how can you miss a huge lava wall covering the entire screen?
For those of you who have never met Tyrant, he's actually a very confusing individual, and I don't think he notices half the things around a room when he's in it. So I'm really not surprised that sometimes he doesn't see the giant wall of lava on Norfair.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It's like throughout our entire set, he just like do like weird things. Like at one point on Norfair, I think the first stock he got off of me, right before he does like that little like rape combo, he literally yells in the venue, and it scared the hell out of me. And he just proceeds to like just do like random Meta Knight stuff, and then just kills me.
Yeah, I guess Tyrant was kind of experimenting around with what he knew to try to take out another a Diddy Kong, a matchup he clearly struggles with. Not taking anything away from you. You won 3-0 in grand finals. That is ridiculously legit, and you only lost one round, including the open bracket, running through the pro bracket. Like, there's not like. I'm pretty sure that's unprecedented. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't know if that's ever been, anything like that's been done before. So congratulations again on your placement at MLG Dallas in the finals.
Well, the MLG season is officially over now. Dallas is obviously the last event, and that pretty much brings us to, for us Smashers, we obviously have big tournaments between then, but MLG doesn't happen again until, the beginning months of 2011. And that raised the question, will we be around again on the circuit? Gears of War 2 only on the circuit for a year. Halo 3's come to an end, though that's because of Halo Reach. And we don't even know if Tekken will still be around. It's a lot of things are up in the air. And, Matt, I wanted to ask you first, because you've been to MLG events, not as many as Will, and more than me, obviously. But, you've paid attention to these things. What do you think about? Do you think we'll be on the circuit next year?
Brawl has brung a lot of hype to MLG because we bring a type of community that's similar to like the Street Fighter community, something that I don't believe the Tekken community and certainly not the Halo community really have, and that's that we really support our players and we know who we want to win a match, and we cheer, and we're just pretty much a really tight-knit community, and that comes from having a really good grassroots community, because unlike Halo and Gears and all those games, they don't really have, like, a grassroots community where they see each other, like, every week, like we see each other. So I think that from both a business perspective and other perspectives, I think that putting Smash back on the ticket for next year is a really, really good idea. It's actually been hinted that we might be on the ticket next year. Gnes, while you were receiving your check up with the whole crowd watching, there's a video taken of the guy, Sundance. He's explaining that he wants to work with the Smash community, and he really wants to put us on the ticket next year, or at least that's what he alluded to. How did you feel hearing that news and just being up there with that giant check in your hand?
Like, honestly, with all the cameras and everything, like, I was so close to, like, shedding a tear. It was pretty emotional, and it's like, knowing that people would be able to go back, and even if I didn't win, someone would be able to feel like the way that I was feeling at that time. It would be pretty awesome if the circuit continued.
Yeah, on my end, obviously one of the big things that hurt Brawl was the lack of a stream, and that was because Nintendo, I hope you're not listening, but you guys are douchebags, and I've been told it was because MLG was offering the HD stream and they didn't want it, them to make money off of it, or whatever the reason was, but that hurt. And, after thinking about it, how much did it really hurt, though? I understand that we could definitely have a lot of people giving tons of hype watching the stream. But we had a lot of people on the live blog, and while the updates weren't amazing, we had updates. We had updates from Twitters and people just talking. But the tournaments themselves is what it's about, I think. And MLG got a lot from what we offered as a community because we had some amazing competition. There were some hiccups, but, for a community that hasn't really been picked up by, such a organization since, its last game, which was, several years ago, and even then, before that hadn't happened ever, you gotta give us at least some slack, or even not that, just the hiccups are expected, and there weren't very many at all. Overall, the positive definitely outweighed the negatives, and there weren't many, and seeing a competition, guys like Gnes really putting in so much work and hard effort into winning like that, that's what it's about. And if MLG kept that, that'd be really amazing, to be honest with you.
And, an example to even demonstrate how dedicated our community is, even though there wasn't a live stream for this event, there are people that actually went, and I'm not even sure if it was legal to record at MLG, but this guy has like 70 videos that he has posted up on Smashboards. And there's it's really legit. Everything's listed out. It's probably all on YouTube. There's a lot of SP on here, it looks like, so this might be an SP fanboy. Let's see if he's a Sonic. No, he's a Marth Mean. Okay. But, no, this guy's from Texas, and it looks like he recorded a whole bunch of stuff. So if we could I think it would be amazing, because even though we didn't have a live stream, people are still this dedicated to getting the experience out to everybody. Everybody that couldn't go to an MLG event. I know there's hundreds and hundreds of more Smashers that wishes they could have been to an MLG event, and for whatever reason, they're not old enough, money issues, the more seasons that we can stick around for, the more people we're going to bring in. I think it'll just be really hype if we can. I'll be so excited if MLG comes back, because it was really unfortunate that I couldn't get to Dallas this year, but I will strive to go to every single event next year. And that's not even a joke. I'll go to every event if they bring us back.
Yeah, I really want to go to an event. I haven't been to an MLG since Meadowlands 08, and I just remember it was so hyped. And I played Gears 1, and I can't even imagine how amazing Smash would be, because Gears was pretty awesome, and it's definitely on a different level than Smash. Smash is just hype in its raw form. But Meadowlands, if they should start out the season with Meadowlands, because Meadowlands was a great season opener, last year, or in the year before, I believe. Yeah, and that would be an amazing, amazing event. They bring Brawl, they keep Brawl, they do Meadowlands, Atlantic North would be great. I would love that.
And, we can talk to them about that, because I think one of the best parts about that speech that Sundance gave is that he wants to work with us. And if we can, tell him, okay, maybe take greens away, or maybe change the pause rules, or maybe have tournaments here, then we can get that. But you guys have to really be vocal that you really want MLG back, and tell them what changes you want.
Yeah, work for it. Don't even it's not even about the rules. It's the competition itself. Tell everybody that you want this tournament back, even if, I don't give a fuck if they keep greens. I don't give a fuck. Just keep, bring it back, because there were so many great things, so many things we talked about from MLG, just this 1 year, how many things happened. It's just to the newcomer like myself, because I only got into this very recently. It's really awesome to see what kind of tournaments that, what they bring out of the community. And we got people like Gnes winning these amazing amounts of money, which I have to ask you, by the way, what the hell are you going to do with that much money?
Well, actually, when I was thinking that I was just going to win 1,000, my mom's been wanting this laptop for pretty much a while now. But now since I've gotten a lot of money, I can buy a really nice one, and I'll probably buy stuff for the house and just put the rest in the bank for college.
That's legit right there.
That's really awesome. Look at that. He's looking out for
Yeah.
his family, and he's being smart with it. He's saving it.
This is a role model right
Yeah,
here.
let me tell you, you're gonna need that money for college. You're gonna really need
Yeah.
that fucking money. Okay?
Petey gets sick, and he's like, "Oh, I need money for college, but I'm sick. I don't have a job." Boo-hoo. No, but seriously, that's really cool for Gnes right there. That's mad respect for you for doing that. And I wish all of us could win that much money at a Smash event so we could give our moms laptops. I would love that.
Did you guys check out, I know Gina saw it, but did you guys see Mike Hayes' blog that he wrote, My Opinion
No.
on MLG? He made a nice post on Smashboards. You guys should all check it out. And he basically went over how the Smash community is, we've always had, like, our regional pride, but we've never been able to express it until the MLG events. Like, what other events every month or every month and a half, 2 months have, like, the East Coast, the West Coast, Texas, everyone from the South, like, everybody just joining up in one area and having these East Coast versus West Coast crew battles and all this hype and meeting people that you would have never meted otherwise. Like, I can't even describe how many new people I met going to MLG events. Like, to be able to meet even Mike Hayes himself, to be able to meet all the West Coast players. Like, I don't think I would have ever met any of those guys. And what that even incites is more hype and more community. We become closer, and our community just grew by that much, because now that we're friends with those guys, we can get them to our, like, national grassroots tournaments like Apex and stuff. And I already know I'm extremely hyped about Genesis, and I really want to go to that. And that's mostly because of all the friends I've made through, huge gatherings at national events like MLG. So, like, it's done so much for our community, and I really, really, really think that we should all support it, like, so much.
Well, everybody, we took a week off last week, but we're back. But you guys already know that. You've been listening to the show. Episode 9 coming to an end right now, unfortunately, but, thanks for listening. Shout out to VV for hosting the show, being legit. Thanks to Will and Matt for joining me. Thanks to Matt for actually joining me. Gnes, I thank you very much for, joining us tonight. It was really awesome to have you here. I want to thank the Smash community for being awesome, and support your fucking community. Get it in, get it done. We want to be on the circuit next year. We want to have an awesome community throughout the remaining years of our life until we go and play like Scrabble when we're 70. If you want to follow us, our show, updates, etc., you can join our Facebook group. Just search Directional Influence. You can follow my Twitter, which is VVV Rapture. Just type that shit in. You can follow us on the VVV site. We put our shit up on All Brawl. We do a lot of advertising, so you can hit us up. Guys, shout-outs?
Shout-outs to the Smash community. I know Dakota already gave them a shout-out, but you guys are really putting in the effort to get MLG on the circuit next year, and, props to that. Keep it up. And, of course, shout-outs to Gnes for living the dream, showing up to the last MLG and just raping face.
I mean, shout-outs, again, like Matt said, to everybody that made the effort to go to MLG Dallas. I know it's been a huge, huge deal. We try to get as many people to go to that as possible and to support MLG, try to get on the circuit next year. And I also want to give a shout out to my friend Eli. I sent out a PM to all you guys that are members of us on Facebook at our Directional Influence group on Facebook. I'm always sending out invites to that. Everybody that's not already a group member should definitely get on that. If you're on Facebook, just look us up. Shout out to my friend Eli. He's hosting a local tournament in Mineola, New York this weekend. And it's really controversial because Meta Knight is banned. If you guys are looking for that easy win, we got that going on this weekend, so everybody come down. Again, it's in Mineola, New York. It's in West Long Island, so everybody that's around the area, come check that out.
Shout out to everyone in Texas, and just for supporting me, and hopefully I keep doing better at all nationals and regionals, just representing our state.
All right, and with that, we will be signing off for today. You can catch us next week, episode 10 of Directional Influence, but right now we're signing off episode 9 of Directional Influence out. Thanks for listening. Cheese, I know you're listening. And Will told me that you wore a fucking hat at Dallas. What the fuck is that shit?
Yo,
Did he really wear a
pictures,
hat?
guys. I don't know where I saw the pictures, but
You know what he did? He probably just enjoyed the attention. And he's like, you know what? He just trolled everybody. He wore a hat, but it probably wasn't even a real hat, was it? It was like a top hat, like a beanie or something.
no, it was a real hat. He was wearing
Really?
it backwards. It was a black hat, and
Oh my god.
he looks like he doesn't have hair when he wears his hat, like at all. Like it completely covers his hair, and it makes you like picture him bald, which is very weird and very scary.
Very scary. Oh my
No,
god.
I really just bet Cheese wouldn't even wear that hat if we didn't chant "Where's your hat" at DC.
Yeah, he didn't want that chant happening again. Oh my god, he didn't want that chant because he lost it.
They should have chanted. They should have chanted "There's your hat."
I want to see Cheese wear like a top hat and a monocle with like a pimp cane, and I just want to and just walk in like don't even give a fuck.
I'd just like to emphasize that because of that chant, he lost with R.O.B versus Meta Knight. Like he lost that matchup. Like how are you gonna lose to a R.O.B?
The R.O.B matchup is 70-30 if you include the chant.
No, it's like 80-20.
80-20. The infinite chant grab gets him every time.